One of the biggest names in the Democratic Party's past now coming out against some of these socialist policies that many of today's presidential candidates are pushing. Talking about former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, he is warning Medicare for all and decriminalizing the border are not winning issues in 2020. On that, I want to bring in our political panel, Patrice Onwuka from the Internet IWF and Democratic strategist Kevin Walling. Kevin, I got to start with you. I mean, Harry Reid, one thing everyone agreed on with Harry Reid is that he was one heck of a politician. And
Amen.
He understood what people wanted. And he is, to me, sending a clarion call to the current Democratic Party. You're heading in the wrong direction.
Yeah, Charles, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, former Majority Leader Harry Reid knew where the votes were when he was a Majority Leader. He actually passed Obamacare, obviously, with President Obama and Speaker Pelosi. So he knows where the votes are. I think he has a good read coming from Nevada, where the majority of Democratic primary goers, where their feelings are when it comes to Medicare for all or the single-payer option, as he's advocating for, supporting Joe Biden, and more of that kind of tact with more conservative and moderate Democrats that make up the majority of our primary electorate.
Patrice?
Yeah, I agree here. I mean, I think it's interesting that when you look at decriminalizing border crossings, 66% of Americans just last month said they think it's a bad idea, and he's come on board. However, Harry Reid has had a history of flip-flopping on this issue, because in 1993, he was against anchor babies, but then he flipped over in 2012 when he thought it was advantageous to get President Obama elected if they softened, enforcement of our immigration laws and sending people back who came here illegally. So, I kind of take his comments with a grain of salt, but I do hope that those who are more moderate would listen and stand up for a centrist position.
Well, listen, when you get in Washington, D.C., putting your finger in the wind and feeling which way the winds are blowing is part of the gig, right? So, and Kevin, I do wonder if maybe Reid is doing that right now, feeling that this wind is becoming a tsunami, and that these left-leaning ideas may be too much. Like he's trying to warn his fellow Democrats, but it feels like the momentum is on the side of Medicare for all, decriminalizing the border, paying off student loans. I'm not sure if this time the Democratic nominee will have that platform, but there are enough candidates out there that tell me that this could be the future for your party no matter what.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Charles. I mean, I think he's trying to bring us back to center base here, home plate, where the vast majority of Democrats are. You have majority support for Medicare for all. You have majority support in the Democratic primary electorate for single payer and improving Obamacare. So those have record numbers in support of both those policies. But at the end of the day, I think Harry Reid wants to beat President Trump. He knows the politics better than probably anyone, especially coming from a state like Nevada. And he, I think, wants a more moderate person to take on the incumbent president.
Real quick, Kevin, and I'm going to go to you after this, Patrice, but Joe Biden, it's almost every day there's some new form of criticism, and whether it's a so-called gaffe, whether it's his wife's sort of unusual endorsement of him that actually many people said proves he shouldn't be running. Do you feel at this moment he'll be the nominee? Can you say out loud who do you think has the momentum right now?
Yeah, Charles, I was actually with the former vice president and Dr. Biden last week in our home state of Delaware. He had a small event there. I think he's got the juice to go all the way. I think, when you're on top, everyone's taking shots at you. But, as you just saw in that Fox News poll last week, he's beating the president by double digits, 12 points nationwide. That's pretty hard to argue against. And that's the argument they're making in that new TV spot across Iowa.
Patrice, according to most polls, all the Democrats are beating President Trump. A lot of people don't have faith in polls. What I see is that Biden at 29% means that 71% have said, no, he's not our guy.
That's exactly right. It is the summertime, Charles. There are a lot of people who are not paying attention to 2020 politics the way we are right now. And so, the polls certainly indicate that President Trump is down. And I think compared to where, he was in 2016, the numbers didn't look good for him then either. And we saw the inevitability of the inevitable candidate and what happened to that person in 2016. So I wouldn't put too much weight in the polls right now. But I certainly know that it's important that the president makes a case to Americans for why he should be reelected. And I think the economy, the jobs market are certainly two big reasons.
All right, Patrice, Kevin, thank you both very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Charles.
Great, thanks, Charles.
Hey, strong